Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Jordan and today I'm here with my wrap up of all of the books that I have been reading. I know I've gone a little ghost on these wrap ups, but I am back and I'm excited to share with you guys what I've been reading. You know, I'm in a good mood, I'm feeling good, I'm looking good. And I'm just happy to be in a better headspace and feel good to be back on BookTube, more active and more regular, if that's the way to say it. Especially ironically, given all the craziness that has been going on for the past 400 years. ICE is tired. Has been tired. I am tired, but I'm gonna keep doing my part. That's exactly why I have the channel that I have and why it's founded on giving voices to Black artists, Black writers. And yeah, it's a wrap up. I read more books than this, but these are the books by Black authors that I read because that's what we're talking about right now. Black. Say with me, Black. Not people of color, Black. With that being said, let's get into the books. So first up, we're going to talk about Zora Neale Hurston's Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick. I love this collection, but let me talk about the collection first and then say why I loved it, but I may not necessarily recommend it for everybody. But it's a collection of short stories that is based during the Harlem Renaissance, and it is based in Eatonville, Florida, crib. Y'all know I'm from Orlando, Florida. Eatonville is right outside of it, so I'm technically not from Eatonville, but it's like 1, 2, 3 jump. And anyways, that's besides the point. Crib. And yeah, I just love the stories. Like the stories had me laughing out loud, some of them. And before I even get into that, the way the book starts off, like I'm holding this physical copy because the foreword sets the tone for this. Like Tiara Jones did an amazing job of writing that foreword. I appreciated it so much. I definitely say read that. But even in that foreword, she says like this collection is meant to be read out loud. Like you need to feel it on your mouth, on your tongue. And I feel that way. I also listened via audio and I preferred listening via audio. Like there's some stories where, yes, I physically read it, but I felt like to truly get the rhythm, the flow of the conversation and all that, it's something you have to hear. Like, yeah, anyways, it's almost like different writers participated. Like it's almost like a collection of short stories from different writers because you really see the way that Zora Neale Hurston's style changed. And I loved that. I really did like that. I would say the first few stories I loved. There's a few stories in the middle where I was like, and then towards the end, the stories were like amazing. So yeah, there's just a lot. Let me know if you guys would like a standalone for this because I could go on and on about this, but just know that this was Black as F. I gave it 4 stars, but I do understand or realize that even though I loved it, I could so see someone else not really vibing with it. And also, if you're like new to reading and not new to reading like that, but you're not like an avid reader or not familiar with any of Zora's works, it may take a while to get into the rhythm, honestly. So, but yeah, anyways, I liked it. The next book that I'm talking about is For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. This I am owning. Like this, I just need it in my. I need it. This spoke to me so beautifully over the past like few months. I revisit certain poems. It's hard because this is a play, but poem. It's also poetry. It's not hard. You guys probably already are familiar with the play, but the play was actually adapted into the movie. But I feel like reading this is the best way to experience it. Like the scenes or poetry, it comes alive and it's just so prevalent and so relevant. I think at the end of this right now I'll probably just leave like a quote or two on the screen, but just know that this was 5 stars. I love this. Like I love this. So the next book is a romance novella by Alyssa Cole. I know I freaking love Alyssa Cole. This is Can't Escape Love. This is freaking just, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I like anything Alyssa Cole, honestly. This is part of the Reluctant Royal series. So if you've read any of them, you'll be familiar with the name Regina, but that's following her love story. Again, with most of the books, you just don't have to read any of the previous. You can jump in and read out of order. This I think was like 2.6, and it's like the last one from the series that I hadn't read that I've now read. But yeah, it follows Regina, who's a twin and who's a boss, and she is a nerd, a self-proclaimed nerd. She has a whole business, I think, called Girls with Glasses or something of that nature, but she is into cosplay and escape rooms and stuff of that nature, and she has insomnia. She's going through a bit much right now, and the only thing that helps her like cure her insomnia is this guy who she used to talk with online, who is into puzzles, and I just love it. It explores so much. Regina, she is in a wheelchair, and it explores that lifestyle of it and a lot of the misconceptions and things that go on with that. But additionally, her love interest, as you can see, is an Asian American male. He is autistic, and it just has a lot of different fun stuff between them. It's like a cute, sexy romance, and if you're a self-proclaimed nerd, you will love it. The next book that I'm going to talk about is Patsy. Now, Patsy, I have a full standalone review on that, so I'm not going to go too in depth with that, but just know that I gave that like 4.5, almost 5 stars. I freaking loved it. So 1 is Caribbean literature, 2 is LGBTQ issues, and not just issues but life. The author herself is queer identifying, and happy Pride Month. I will have a video out soon on that, but I feel like the topics that are touched in this book are so beautifully done. It's a story about essentially Patsy, who is leaving behind a daughter in Jamaica to pursue America, but pursuing America for various different reasons, and it touches on so much. Like, there are some sensitive topics, a lot of sensitive topics, from self-harm to, you know, homophobia, to just, you know, physical abuse as well as sexual assault. So there are a lot of heavy topics that are discussed within the book, but it's another book that I just enjoyed so much. I listened to it on audio, and it was just beautifully done. I cannot wait to read Here Comes the Sun, because now I'm a believer. Next up is a poetry collection called Homie by Denez Smith. It's actually called My Nig, but they actually specifically called it Homie because they don't want non-black people saying my nig, and I appreciate it. So this is a collection of poems and poetry, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this a lot. I think a lot of the poems were beautiful. I actually read through it, and then like a month later I saw it on audio, so I was like, let me listen to it, because it's only like I think an hour and a half on audio. I actually enjoyed it more on audio because it, you know, the author, they actually do spoken word through it, and I appreciated it. Y'all know I stand so hard for Don't Call Us Dead. That's also by the author, and I think because my bar set so high for this, I was a little bit like, you know, but it's still a really good collection. It's just, if I have to have one, if you haven't read anything from the author, read Don't Call Us Dead first and then read this, you know? Or maybe you shouldn't, because I think if you read this first, you'll be like, ooh, and then you'll be like, ooh. But yeah, I liked it a lot, and I felt like this collection touches more on the relationships of, like, in a friendship type of way. And it touches on all the same themes, like sexuality, gender, relationships, clearly being black, and, you know, systemic racism and all that other stuff, and somewhat comical but beautiful ways. You know, one of my favorites, which I hate picking favorites, but since I'm not doing a standalone, I just want to get this out. There's one that's called Self-Portrait as a 90s R&B video, and I loved reading it, but hearing it on audio, oh my goodness, it was like brought to the next level. The next book I'm talking about is Saving Savannah. Now, this is a young adult historical fiction novel, and it centers around Savannah, who is growing up in DC, and she's from an upper class African American family, and this is set in the 1900s, and it's during the time of a lot of events in history, and some of the stuff very mimic very closely to a lot of the things that are happening right now. which is both sad and interesting. It's kind of on the movement of social disparities, but also racism, systemic racism. It deals with class. It deals with a lot of different topics, but I really enjoyed this book. I thought this was a 3.5 stars. This was really good. It was very historically accurate as far as I was looking up things, and the stuff was just lining up. And it's crazy because at the same time a flu pandemic was happening, right after that there was just a lot more unrest with the inequality that was happening in the country. And it's just interesting timing to be reading this or to have read this. And I did enjoy this, and I do recommend this. The next book that I read is actually Leaving Atlanta by Tiare Jones, which I had never heard of prior to, but I actually heard of it while looking more into the Atlanta child murders that happened in Atlanta in basically like the early 1980s. And I watched a documentary, listened to podcasts, and when I saw, oh, there are books written about this, I was like, let me check this out. It's actually a young adult fiction novel of basically that follows 3 different children that are navigating during this time. And what's interesting, which I did not know about the author herself actually was in Atlanta at this time, and 2 of the children that were her classmates actually were victims. I thought this was amazing. I cannot believe like I hadn't heard of it prior to. I definitely say check it out. It was on audio through my library, and I mean, it's just so well told. And I feel like because the author herself is very familiar with that time, was able to really have you feel the essence of what it was like being a child during that time. The other book that I read is also related to this. It's actually more so essays. It's nonfiction by James Baldwin, Evidence of Things Not Seen, which was a great supplement. And it was also very interesting to get the insights of the trial and all that while it was happening live, like not decades later when we're resurfacing this trial, this case. And, James Baldwin just points out all the different stuff of how this was poorly handled. It was not, Black lives were not valued, are not valued to look into it. It follows like the court proceedings. He has like a lot of the transcripts of the actual hearings throughout the trial, and it was just super insightful. So yeah, catch me up, guys. Tell me what y'all been reading. I wanted to end on a more positive note, but that last story, it kind of took me a little bit, but it is what it is on that. But yeah, stay tuned. I have a lot in store. I actually have a video that will be up either before or after this video that will be centering and featuring Black queer authors. And because it is Pride Month, and you cannot say that you care about Black lives if you don't care about Black queer lives. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Yeah. On that note, love and fight. I know I usually say love and light, but keep fighting, y'all. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.